Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. So this is the PlanET Pumps and Hoses extension. This is by Kastor D-S-Agrarservice. It is 33.45 megabytes to download. I've done this separately because I wanted to spend a bit of time just having a bit of a fiddle around with it, but also because of all the mods we got on Friday. Adding this in as well, I was already over and I had to do it in two parts, so I've done this separately. Now, this is not a pumps and hoses guide video or anything like that. I've done the pumps and hoses pack videos. I did those when they came out. This is an extension to that. This adds on more equipment, more buildings. We've got bunkers, digesters, methane flares, generators, a separator and slurry storage. So this, but it also does say important, you need the DLC pumps and hoses. So to utilize this mod you need the pumps and hoses DLC is what it's saying. Now I've already got a load of stuff set up, and I just did this for the thumbnail, fences and bits and bobs around it. I have technically got 3 separate biogas plants running, but because I've done that, it's done something very strange and it's amalgamated everything together into one lump. I'll show you what it's doing and how it's running at the moment, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all that away, and then what I'll do is we'll run through kind of just setting one up, and the parts you need, the order you need to do it in. And like I say, you can run this in combination with the pumps and hoses pack, so you can use their fermenters, you can use their bunkers, you can use their separators, all that kind of stuff. This is just designed to go with it. Capacities and slot counts and stuff, there's a lot in this pack, so there'll be a fair bit of information, but we'll see how we go. We'll talk about it and show in the mod hub where everything is. This is a separator. Separator is designed to take slurry or digestate, and it takes out the solid component of that from it, and it will give you separated manure, which we've got there being produced. I've got that next to the silo that comes in this pack. This silo will hold 750,000 litres. Now it does say slurry or digestate, but I brought over slurry and it automatically turned it into digestate. So if I go over to here now, bottom right it says digestate 747,000 litres, because what the separator is doing is it's using the digestate from here to take out the solid matter to give us that separated manure. That separated manure can be used in muck spreaders, and if I show you on there under manure spreaders, bottom right you'll see that you've got the symbol for manure and then you've got the symbol for separated manure. So if you've got the pumps and hoses pack installed and you've got this as well, the separated manure can be run through your muck spreaders as a byproduct if you want to. Now you can just have this separator on its own without the silage or the slurry pit, and if you've got a slurry tanker with slurry or digestate, you can bring the tanker up next to it and it will separate from it. It's supposed to do that. Then if we move forward, we have got the fermenters, the big tanks, we've got the bunkers, and there are a few of those, and then we've got the methane processing portion. Now that will take the methane being produced and turn that into electricity if you want to run that. There's a few of those to have a look at, and then around the back of this one in particular, or each one we've got the gas flares, and the gas flares burns off the excess methane to prevent accidents and things like that. So I've put another one of the digestate tanks here, slurry digestate tanks around the back, so everything can kind of move in. Now like I say, you wouldn't normally have 3 biogas plants right next to each other, and when I show that, this is why this is going to be a little bit confusing, because when I click onto here to show you, it is not showing 3 separate production chains. It's amalgamated everything into one place. If I go to fermenters, you'll see slurry there says 139,000 litres. That 139,000 litres is the combined capacity of that one, this one, and that one. So yeah, that's why that's a little bit skewed at the moment, but that does show you we have got sugar beet cart, silage, manure and slurry running. What's going to be interesting is when I show you setting it up, is that the information in the middle, the recipe, only starts off showing silage. When you add the extra components in, it's when it adds the recipe up. So that combined recipe that's showing there, 3,876 of methane, 17,730 of digestate, that's the 3 biogas plants combined. Now the other interesting thing I'm finding is that's staying at 0, my outgoing products. I've got those on distributing. because I'm assuming they're going into the digestate tank, and the methane is going into the power plant to be processed. As you can see, methane there, 256 litres, because I've got them on distributing and not storing. If I had those on storing, those two numbers would be going up, but at the moment they're not. Then the bit in the middle that says utilisation at the bottom, you've got fermenters. It says they're running perfectly. Not really. Bunkers are running perfectly. The cogeneration plant, which is your methane production, is running at full limit, and the torches are burning off. They're active. They're burning off a certain amount of methane. Now you can't get that to drop down. You need those flares. That's the emergency kind of shut off, cut off, however you want to refer to that. So let's look at the component parts of this, and then we'll set one up from the beginning, and you'll see what information it gives you at the start, and what you need to build it. And like I say, this is not a guide to the pumps and hoses. I'm not going to get loads of hoses out. I'm not going to be reeling stuff out. I'm not going to be slurrying fields. This is just looking at this pack and what this brings and what it adds into the whole situation. We'll start off, I think, with the silo, because the silo is actually, I didn't show you here. If I come over to this as well, here it says turn off separator. So if I turn that off, you can stop it processing if you want to. That's how you get that running. Fairly straightforward. So if we go into our build menu, he says, and go to silos first, if we scroll across, so you've got all the pumps and hoses stuff that's there. If we keep going right the way across, right at the very end there, part of this pack, the PlanET PnH extension mod, you've got the manure storage. Well, it says manure, but it's slurry or digestate, what I would refer to as liquid manure. The storage is 45 slots for that initially, which comes down to 2, and as you can see, it's 135,000 to buy and place. So that's the first one. Everything else is found under production. So again, if we go to factories and we scroll past all the pumps and hoses stuff, which is all there, you can combine them if you want to. We come out to this side and we move to this. Now, the fermenter is the first thing you have to place. If you try and place something else first, now it will let me at the moment because I've got all this other stuff on there. If you try and place anything else first, it will tell you need the fermenter. Okay, and it does say bottom right, fermentation of biomass to methane and digestate must be placed first. So we start off with, on the end, we've got the 20 metre. The 20 metre one is 14 slots. I don't know whether or not to read through all the information or whether to put it in the description, but these have all different capacities in that this one will hold 100,000 litres of silage, 25,000 litres of manure, 15,000 litres of sugar beet pulp or chopped beet, 25,000 litres of liquid manure. The next one across is the 23 metre, and again it's just the capacities that change as we go up. The prices are slightly different, but it's just, yeah, I mean basically it's just the capacities. I think what I'll do, because otherwise I'm just going to be reading out loads of information, we're just going to be reading out from here what all the capacities are, but needless to say, as you work your way up in size and diameter, that's what's going to be the difference in size. This one here is a 20. As you can see above, when you're in the build mode, it tells you what they are. That's a 20. That's the 2x20, so that's a double. And then the one I've got over here, I placed the 32 metre, which is a massive one. So we scroll across from the bottom, 25 metre, 26, 31, 32 and a 33. Yeah, and it's just, yeah, the capacities of what they take. So that's all the start stuff. You need a fermenter, whatever you do first. If we then go across, we've then got the bunkers. There are 3 bunkers in this pack. You've got the bunker 25, 25,000 litre capacity. The slot counts for all of the digesters, the fermenters, are all, we've got 15s, 16s, 15s, 16s. The 32 metre, for some reason, I think it's got more stuff around the top of it. That one there is 17 slots, and then the 33 is 14, so all around that sort of area. Then we've got the bunkers, and I didn't write down, did I write down? I did write down what they were. This is the generators. I forgot to write down the slot counts, but that's all right, because when I clear them we'll go back and have a look. So the 25,000 litre one is 10 slots, the 60,000 litre one is 11 slots, and the 85,000 litre one is 10 slots. 75 grand, 120 grand, 165 grand. Now, the bunkers you need as well, because the fermenter is what everything ferments in. The bunker is how you put stuff in. Now, these will process what you put in there at a certain speed, and they will feed the fermenter. So it's not that instantaneous, it's already there. It has to feed into the fermenter from the bunker. I'm going to talk about that as well in a little while, because I suddenly had this, because of the way I set this up, it triggered something that made me think, I wonder if, and I tried something. So that's the bunkers. You'll need one of those as well. Again, you can mix and match those with the pumps and hoses if you want to. Then as we move along, we move on to the generators, and these are what take the methane from the plant and turn that into electricity, which can then be sold. So we've got these are the generators, the ones I didn't write down. So that first one is 17. So we've got 32 kilowatt. Weirdly, on the website, on the ModHub website, it shows these as, it says BKHW50, 150, 350 and 1050. On here it's showing as a 32 kilowatt, a 40 kilowatt, a 60 kilowatt or a 102 kilowatt. And it's just again the capacity of processing and what they can store, that kind of thing. And the price is obviously the same as the pumps and hoses pack. To set these up, it's not cheap. There's an expensive way of doing things. Now, whether these also will work in conjunction with, because there's a lot of BGAs, there's a modular BGA setup, there's a methane pack one, by various different modders. I'm just looking at this pack and what this pack brings to the table, going away and then finding out which ones will all work in conjunction with, there are so many available, and that will be a case of having to fiddle around and seeing what works, because I was always hoping that you'd be able to produce methane and take the methane out. Unfortunately, with this pack, and the same with the pumps and hoses, it produces the methane, and with one of these stations it will take that methane and it will turn it into electricity for you. But as far as I could tell with the pumps and hoses and with this one, I was never able to take the methane out. There was no point around here where there's a place for removing it, so just be aware of that. And then we move on to the separator we looked at already. The separator is 11 slots. That will hold 38,000 litres when it's full of the separated manure. 29,500 to buy. And then we've got the methane flares. We've got the small and we've got a large. It does say emergency gas flare for burning excess methane from the fermenter. So it's burning off excess. When it says it's burning 63%, it's burning in excess. It's not like you're losing all of your methane. And I'm pretty sure when I set this all up, it did say that you needed to have one. So I'm just looking down my list now then. Gas flares, separator, storage, generators, digesters and bunkers. Yeah. So that's everything on there. That one there is that one there. So that's the 102 kilowatt I've got on there. This one here, I think was that one. That's the 40 kilowatt. And this one here is that one there, the 60 kilowatt. Just so you're aware. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is remove all of this and we'll set one up from the start. I'm not going to put anything into it, but just to show you what is there. And how to go about setting one up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, and like I say, without reading out, I don't want this just to be me reading out numbers, because I know as I'm a visual learner, I'm visual and auditory, I guess. If you're a visual learner and somebody's just talking numbers at you, to try and absorb that information is quite difficult. So what I will do, I will grab all of this information and it will be in the description for the video as well. It's on the ModHub website, so if you go onto the Farming Simulator website, go to mods and then go onto this particular mod, all the information is in the description, but I'll put it in the description for the video as well, which will make life a little bit easier, I think, too. So bear with me a minute, I'm going to clear all this and then we'll set one up from scratch. Okay, clean slate then. If we go into here and we go to our production chains, there's nothing showing. So if we go into there, go to our production, and go to the start. I'll show you what I mean. If I go to here and pick one of the bunkers, it will say no biogas plant route found. Move closer to a fermenter. So I need to place a fermenter first. That's what's got to happen. Doesn't matter what size I go for. Let's go for one in between. We'll go for 26 metre. If I spin that round, you'll see the point there for managing the production, and the little icon there is also for putting slurry in. So that's the slurry point where that goes in. So if I place that there, so we've got our route building created. That's great. And now we need the bunkers. Now I'm going to talk something about the bunkers in just a second. Now when you bring it's too far away at the moment. When we get close to it, that comes up. So the pipe comes up, and you can then move that around wherever you want it, and you can set it up so the pipe goes into the wall and the supports as well. So it looks like it all fits together very nicely. I'll just put that one there. So when I had the previous one set up and I had the 3 biogas plants, what was odd was I filled up one with silage. It filled up and it started processing, no problem at all. I then set the next one up and I put what did I put in that one? Oh, no, I went to put silage in it. It filled up with silage, but it wasn't processing. It wasn't doing anything. So the whole point of this is you put into the bunker, and the bunker then processes it through into the fermenter. And it was just sitting, saying it was full, and it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't processing. And what dawned on me was, because I had multiple ones, and I had one that was already processing silage, because it was taking the whole lot as one big biogas plant, it wouldn't process the silage in the other bunker because one was already doing it. Which then led me on to think about something else. Because these process at a set speed, and if I fill that up, this one's capacity is the 60,000 litre one. So if I fill that with 60,000 litres of silage, I then can't put sugar beet cut in that. It's full, that's the capacity of it. So what made me think was, I wonder if I go back into my production chains. Now you may have done this already on pumps and hoses, I don't know. It never occurred to me before. I'll go with the smaller one, doesn't really matter which one. Can I place a second fermenter on the same thing? And the answer to that is, you absolutely can. Now if I want to do 4 the same size, so I go for that one for example, if I put that one around there, put that one on. So what I could do, I can fill this one with silage. 60,000 litres, that'll start chugging away and put it into there. Because I can't put anything else into that, I'm kind of hamstrung at that point. But if I place a second one, I could then put my sugar beet cut in the second one. I could have a third and a fourth. Well, no, I only need a third, don't I? I could have the third for putting manure in, and then this point here is where I put my slurry in. So with 3 of those round it, I could be far more productive at processing, because that would all be, they'd all be processing separately rather than waiting for that to empty, then put the next thing in, wait for it to empty, put the next thing in, or at least wait for it to go down enough that you can put the next item in, because the total capacity is 60,000 litres on that one. Doesn't matter what you try and put in it, it's a total of 60. So you can put multiple bunkers around and it will process them all. If we go in here and have a look now, you'll see to the right what it requires. It's like one of each. At the moment it's only showing in the middle under production silage. It's showing you a recipe there. You'll get 918 of methane, 4105 of digestate. And then it also says under utilisation fermenters. Not all materials are available. I haven't put any materials in yet. Once you've put all your 4 materials in, it will get close to 100%. I didn't quite get it all the way to 100%, but it will get close. Bunkers is running bad. I've got nothing in my bunkers at the moment. Once the bunkers have got stuff in, then it will start running. Maybe I will put some stuff in to show you. The cogeneration plants, this type of building is required, and torches, this type of building is required. So you can see already you need to put those on. It says it requires them. It's going to have them on. So what we'll do then, go back into the menu, go to production. So again, it doesn't matter necessarily which one we go for on this. If I go and look at in the mod hub, yeah, the different size, I mean generators, I guess how you refer to them, but the cogeneration, the generation plants, it just gives you a price, and there it just processes methane from the fermenter. And under information, it says they're 400, 480, 700, 1200. I think that's the sort of the cycles per month, how fast it runs. Anyway, let's put one on. Let's go with that one, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be right on top of it, but it can be if you want. And again, it depends if you've got multiple fermenters or multiple bunkers round. Let's put that in. And then we also need, because it says it's required, a methane flare. We'll go for a methane flare large. Again, doesn't matter where you put it. And when it all starts running, that will chug away. We've got nothing in here at the moment, but if I go along to this one and click on this now, there you go, your power plant. No, it's just cycles per month 24. Oh, it's the recipe, sorry. Where it says 700 in the menu, it's the recipe. So it's how much methane it will process. So it is, yeah, depending on the size of it, the recipe's greater. It was the recipe, not the cycles per month. Anyway, right. So we need to put some stuff in here now. Attention, burning 31% of methane production. I've got nothing running yet, so it's not. The cogeneration plants aren't running yet. I've got nothing in there yet, so there's no point turning those on yet. Now, brings me on to this, and this was the same with the pumps and hoses. Unlike some biogas plants where you can drive around the front and it will give you a trigger to unload out front, these don't. Now I also did wonder whether, because there was in the pumps and hoses DLC, there was the bunker that you could drive into and you could tip into it and then drive out again. These will either require a conveyor belt. There's pickup conveyors that are available. It will require a wheel loader with bucket or something with a bucket, or there are ramp mods. The ramp mods are fine to a point. They only come up to about so high. If I show you one under tools that I've got installed, you can place them in front, but they only come up so high. So it's going to depend. If I do that so it doesn't overlap, I can place it. It depends what trailer you're using, whether it will reach over the lip or not, and you can't place multiple ramps on top of each other. So you maybe put a small one with another one above it, or maybe you could raise the land up a little bit if you wanted to. So you've got a few different options on how to fill those up. So what I'm going to do is off camera now, I'm going to put the third one in. So I'm going to put into one, into the other, into the third, and then I'll put the slurry in as well, and we'll see what the recipe's showing and how it's running, and we'll get it all up and chugging away. I thought I would jump back on just while I was filling these up. As you can see, I've put slurry in, 49,000 litres. I've put some sugar beet cut into one of the bunkers, and you can see it's the incoming materials over this side is processing through that bunker into the fermenter now, so it's gradually working its way in. But you can also see the recipe in the middle has gone from just showing silage to now showing silage and slurry and sugar beet cut, and the recipe is now showing 1,230, 5,692. So as the things add in, because initially when I kind of looked, I did panic a little bit and thought, hang on a minute, why is it not showing everything? It will show as you gradually put the things in. So I'm just going to put the silage and manure in now, and we should have it all running. Okay, we are stocked, locked and ready to rock. The beauty of having multiple bunkers, you'll see this one, that's processing. I haven't got to wait for enough of that to go down to put the next product in. So that one is running my manure, this one's chugging away, that's running my silage. Slurry went in at the point there, that went straight in, the 50,000 litres, and that one's doing my sugar beet cut. If we go into our menu, actually we can go around to, rather than going to the menu, let's go around to the manage production point. You'll see the recipe will have changed again. Where are we? Why is it not letting me access there? That's weird. Normally does. Did I put that too close maybe? I can go for the main menu, it's not a problem, or I can go into here and go up to it. There you go. So our fermenter. So the recipe now has got all 4 products in: 1,416 methane, 6,672 digestate coming out. As you can see, the incoming materials, they're gradually chugging away and they're all coming in, which is absolutely fantastic. Utilisation in the middle. Fermenters, I haven't got it running yet, but my bunkers are running at 99% efficiency. Brilliant stuff. My torches are burning everything at the moment because I haven't got anything else running. So at the moment they're showing us burning everything. If I turn on my fermenters now, my fermenter's running okay. Could be doing better. That should improve. And then if I go to there and turn on my power plant now as well, that will take the methane that's being produced and that will produce electricity. Now that will sell every hour, I believe. If I turn that on, that's running to its limit. Now, why is that burning 109% of the methane production? That should reset itself in a moment because we've got methane coming in here now. It's not really burning everything. That's crazy. So what should happen now if we go around the back now? You'll see that's now burning. That's doing its job. Now my digestate at the moment is sat on distribution. I'll go back up to there, but I've got nowhere to distribute my digestate too. So that's why that's filling up at the moment, because it says to distribute across the biogas plant, but I haven't put in a bunker or anything like that. So what I can do, if we go into there, go to silos, this should work, fingers crossed. He says, doesn't really matter where I put that, but we'll put it around the back here somewhere, I guess. Do that. There you go, that's now gone to 0 under digestate there. So that should now be going from here. It will store it in here, no problem at all. But that should now go into the storage tank, which holds 750,000 litres. That's still burning a lot of my... That's interesting. I'm curious as to why the fermenters are just saying they're running okay. It could be because I haven't got enough product. That'll be the reason why. If you look at the recipe, what it's showing it requires to run 5,387 of silage, 1,305 of slurry, 1,305 of manure, and 730 of sugar beet cut. If we go over to that, I haven't got those numbers in there yet. Slurry I have, so it'll be running the slurry no problem. So my fermenter's not running efficiently because I don't have enough materials in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to speed up time, so these bunkers should process enough into there, so then when we turn it back on again, it should run more efficiently. Again, this is just looking at the numbers and making sure when you kind of go on and you're looking at it, you don't panic and think, well, hang on a minute, it's not running properly. It's just because that recipe requires a lot more ingredients than I've actually got processed yet, so I just need to process a little bit more. My gas torch is inactive. I've turned it off, that's why. So what we can do then, let's turn that off as well. Okay then, let's turn that back on. We have sped up time a little bit, not too far, and it's actually gone pretty quickly. If we look at our fermenter now, we've got all of this stuff, all this product that's been processed through our bunkers. It's now sitting in here. If I turn this back on, fermenter's running perfect. We've got enough resources now in there. The bunkers have slowed down a little bit, but that's fine. What we should have, now that could be if one of these has run low for any reason. No, that's still chugging away. Silage, I suppose that could be why silage is getting a little bit lower than others. It does produce silage a lot faster, or it runs through the silage a lot faster than it runs through the sugar beet cut and the manure, so that's something to bear in mind. So as that bunker runs low, that could be why. That's showing the bunkers run at 75%, because it's gradually running down. That's a good indication actually. If you look there, you'll suddenly think, hang on a minute, why is that running low? Or why is that not running perfectly? Because that particular bunker is running a little bit lower. Methane is being produced. That will then be turning into its electricity. It doesn't show outgoing products as electricity, but it will sell it. Our fermenter's going great, and then what we should be able to do, please tell me this is working. If we come around the back to here, there we go. Our digestate that's being produced in there, that was storing in there, I've set it to distribution, and now we've got our manure storage. Digestate is moving directly into there, so 750,000 litre capacity in here as well to take out. And you can either, I mean, it'd be, I've always thought it's a bit interesting having the separator. You can run the separator on its own, because you can take slurry there, digestate there, and it will make the separated manure. If you're putting manure into here, which we have done, to run it through, to take digestate out to make manure, I guess you could do, because it's a byproduct. What you are gaining from this, you're gaining electricity, and you're going to be paid for that. So this is running a whole process, I guess. But anyway, that should be it. That's the everything that comes in this pack. That's how to set it up. It's running. Everything seems to be running quite happily. And like I keep saying, and I've said all the way through, mix and match it in with the pumps and hoses. If you don't know how to use the pumps and hoses stuff, if I remember, I'll put a link. If not, on my playlists there should be, or I'll put a card will come up in the corner of the screen showing you a link, or you can click on that to go to the pumps and hoses mods to show how to use all that and all the equipment on there. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. This has been the PlanET Pumps and Hoses extension by Kastor D-S-Agrarservice. If you have found it helpful in any way, shape or form, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.